Welcome to this episode of The Buildup, presented by the Florida Home Builders Association, serving up fresh perspectives on politics, building, and beyond.
Welcome to another episode of The Buildup. I'm your host, Ryan Benson, with A. Vernon Allen Builder in Naples and Sanibel, and with me,
John Riddle at Turning Leaf Custom Homes, based here in Sanford.
So we're broadcasting again from the amazing Florida Paints factory, and they have been kind enough to let us use their pub, which that's appropriate. I think the actual name, they go by the pub here, which they have inside the factory for a series of broadcasts. So with us today, we want to welcome Daniel Kennerly. Nice to meet you, Daniel. Thanks for coming. We're going to talk with Daniel about some pretty cool stuff, a lot around the new American home, which is a big deal, happens at the International Builder Show every year. His team is building it this year. So we're gonna dig into a lot of that. Before we do, well, there's a fun fact that Riddle's got to hit on, because I was very impressed.
So, the new American home, right? We're going to talk all about it, Daniel. But, not only do we have Florida Gator fans as our subscribers, right? But we have a few Florida State fans.
Just
out
a few.
There. So let us know. Tell us the story about your connection with Florida State.
Well, I went to Florida State from 1996 through 99, but the unique thing that always comes out somehow or another is that I was Chief Osceola at Florida State. So I rode the horse in 98, 99, the most Irish Native American you've ever seen right here, through the spear. It was one of the most unique experiences as a college student that you can ever have. I mean,
imagine you were pretty popular.
People knew who you were. That's for sure.
How'd you get that?
Well, it's kind of a funny story. I grew up on a cattle ranch, and so I've ridden horses since I was knee high to a grasshopper. And I was working for the vice president of the university at the time, doing tours for incoming students and new faculty. And she had a dinner with the gentleman that started the program, and he was talking about how he couldn't find a new rider because it was hard to find people at Florida State that rode horses. And she said, I've got a guy that grew up on a cattle ranch that I know he's ridden horses his whole life. And he said, well, give me his number. And so Bill Durham calls me one day out of the blue and says, do you want to try out for Chief Osceola? I said, yes. You didn't even know that it was a thing that you tried out for. Yeah. This guy randomly calls you, and she had forgotten to tell me that she gave him my number. And so it was, I was a little unbelieving at the time.
Yeah.
I thought it was my fraternity brothers playing a joke on me.
Sure.
And it was not. So the rest is history, and it was super fun. So.
Is it one horse they keep on campus on stables, or what's the setup?
So it's one horse, and it's actually they keep it off campus. It's a private individual that actually owns the rights to the whole name and program and everything. But he's obviously closely affiliated with Florida State. And one of the unique things about Florida State, Chief Osceola, and the Seminole Tribe of Florida is the close relationship that they have. Florida State doesn't have a king and queen of homecoming. They have a chief and princess, and the chief of the Seminole Tribe actually crowns them at halftime of the homecoming game.
Oh.
And so they have like the full support and backing of the Seminole Tribe of Florida.
So the gentleman owns the rights to the Chief Osceola name almost as a brand. Is it the Seminole Tribe, or is it just a private individual?
It's just a private individual. He started it in 1978, and there's only been, I think, since 1978, 22 riders.
Wow.
And so it's this kind of fun little club. You're a varsity athlete, so I got a letter jacket,
cool.
You
get to go to the suite when you go back for games?
I do.
It's awesome.
It's a unique it's a unique honor to have had, and it's something that's really fun. My kids, I have 4 boys. They love telling anyone. It's not something you tell about yourself. Sure. I will say my boys, though, it's like the first thing that anytime they meet somebody, did you know my dad was Chief Osceola? And I'm like,
really cool.
Boys, it's not quite as cool as you think it is. I love it, but it is really fun to see your kids excited about you.
For sure.
Yeah, it's very fun.
So what'd you go to school for?
I have 2 degrees, one in finance and one in history.
Okay.
No, no.
How'd
My
you end
con-
up a builder?
Well, a very roundabout way. Worked in politics, worked in finance, actually. Solomon Smith Barney, worked for Pfizer, and made my way into commercial land development that turned into construction 15 years ago.
Cool.
And
Okay.
so,
What about
yeah.
politics? I didn't know that background. What did you
Yeah,
work in politics?
I actually worked in fundraising. I was the finance director for the state Republican Party for Jeb Bush's reelection
No
campaign.
way.
Yeah, it was a very circuitous route to where we are now.
Yeah.
But what's been cool about that is those diverse experiences have really built into how I've built the business that I run now, and it's been really interesting to have those experiences. And building is about connecting with people. I mean, we're here to talk about obviously the New American Home, and it's all about connecting with people. No matter what you do, whether it's subcontractors, suppliers, manufacturers, clients, employees, you build something because you've connected with people. And really, I mean, it's kind of what podcasts are about, right?
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
they see us connecting with each other, we connect with hopefully with our audience, and they like to hear about what we're doing.
Cool.
It's actually exactly why Ryan started the podcast, is to
Hmm.
connect our members, our listeners, to our legislative and business leaders in our home building industry. So you're
Yep.
exactly right. Yeah.
Yep. It's a wonderful thing.
So tell the listeners, one, what is the New American Home? I mean,
Great
we know what
question.
it is. A couple of them
That's right.
don't. So explain that. Then we want to talk a lot about the house itself, the process,
Absolutely.
everything.
Absolutely. Well, the New American Home is unique because whereas in normal parade of homes that you hear about and see, which everybody knows, there's 3 or 4 dozen homes that, builders show off what they've done. The New American Home is unique in that it is the show home for the International Builder Show and the Kitchen and Bath International Show, KBIS and IBS. How big is KBIS and IBS? Well, it's the second largest convention in the United States behind CES, the Consumer Electronics Show.
Wow.
140,000 people over 3 days will come through IBS. And over 5,000 will be given guided tours of the New American Home. And this happens every single year. And it's one single home that is meant to showcase new and innovative products that are widely used in the building world. The idea is that the leaders in construction, the manufacturers and suppliers, get to really show off by having their product in the New American Home.
And how did you? I know it's what all the buses line up for at the back of the
That's
convention
exactly
center,
right.
and everyone goes out and
Yes.
you get to tour and come back.
Mhm.
So how did you end up getting selected for building the New American Home?
Yep. I live by kind of a little bit of an ethos of opportunity sometimes comes knocking, but most of the time you make the opportunity for yourself. And 2 years ahead of time is when they select the next builder for the New American Home. And I knew that was coming up. And we had a client that was building a house that his personality, I knew, would allow us to potentially use the home that he was building for the New American Home. I knew that he wasn't overly concerned with having the exact final say in everything that went in the home, because you do have to give up some design choices because of suppliers that want to donate to the home. And I knew that he was
And
kind
that's
of
controlled by IBS.
okay. That's controlled by the National Home
Yeah,
Builders
sorry,
Association.
NHB. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And so his personality kind of fit with what the home might be, and he also has a very philanthropic mindset, and so I knew there might be some synergy there, and I'll tell you about that in just a second. But as I presented him with the idea, he said, "Yeah, go ahead, pursue it." And so why wait for them to come to you? So I called the National Home Builders Association and finally got in touch with the executive director, said, I'd like to build the New American Home in 2026. And they said, well, we come down in November and interview the builders. And I said, well, I'm going to be in DC in October. Can I stop by and show you the plans and renderings for the home? And I said, I'm going to be there the week of October 21st. And he said, sure, stop by. So I bought a ticket and I was in DC for the week of October 21st. And, I mean, you make opportunity by being first in line, by, by selling your idea. And so it was cool. Started a really neat relationship with them, asked them for the last appointment of the day. And the sun setting over Lake Osceola. We have west facing lot, had renderings down by the lake. And then we went to dinner that night. And none of that is the exact reason why we were chosen. But, you tell a story. And stories make connections, and you create connections because you want to do business with people that you have connections with. And at dinner that night, Jason brought the homeowner with me because important.
Wait, who's Jason? Just so.
Great question. Jason Eichenholz is our client that we're building the home for. Jason was the co-founder of Luminar, which developed LiDAR technology for self-driving cars.
Very cool.
So company went public in 2000 and has done well, to say the least. But Jason also created something called Jonathan's Landing, and I was talking about the philanthropic aspect of it and how that plays into this whole story. As we're sitting at dinner, we're having great conversation, and the executive director, Tucker, Jason asked him very pointedly, I'd really love for this house to be the new American home. What's it going to take? And Tucker, very politically said, well, we're going to go back and we're going to discuss between ourselves the different homes and builders that we've met, and we'll get back to you. But everybody is on equal footing, and we'll see. And Jason thought about it a minute, and Jason said, well, let me sweeten the pot. He said, what if I donated the full value of every product and service given to the New American Home to charity?
Very cool.
And the table, frankly, it was one of those really weird times, or just unique times, that there's kind of dead silence, because the normal amount given to these homes is between $1.5 and $1.7 million a product.
Okay.
And so Tucker said, do you realize what you're getting into? And Jason said, yeah. He said, I'll give it to Jonathan's Landing, which is his son has autism, and Jason has created a facility or a home here in Orlando called Jonathan's Landing. It's a 500-room community for adults with autism where they can live, work, and play. And they actually work in technology and actually defer the cost of the cost of living by the work that they do with repairing cell phones and tablets. Really, really cool. I mean,
what an awesome.
It's phenomenal. And so that kind of started the, conversation, and they said, send us a signed letter that, you're committing to that, and we'll put it in the file. And so a week later, which, as promised, they made the decision. They notified us that we'd be the builder.
Sure.
And Jason.
So it was like $1,000 faucet from Moen. He writes a check, $1,000 for Jonathan's Landing.
That's right.
That's awesome.
More like a $1,000 toilet from Kohler.
Yep.
And there's only 8 of them in the house. So as we've gone through this, to kind of let the cat out of the bag, and we've talked about it before, but we're over $3 million in contributed product and services to the home.
Very.
And so Jason will be presenting a check at the closing ceremonies, I believe, at IBS, to Jonathan's Landing for $3 million.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Really, really unique. So
cool story. So how's it going so far?
That's a great question.
But you can't tell, like he's sitting.
I know.
Yeah.
1 to 10. How stressed are you right now?
Relax now, Dan.
October 4th, 2024, we put our first shovel in the ground.
Okay.
That's a 16,126 square foot house in 14 months.
Wow. That's a little ambitious.
That's a little ambitious. What would you expect that to take? 2.5?
Yeah, I mean, we've done those before. Yeah, it's about right. If I'm doing, most of our homes are in that range, 10 to 20,000 square feet. It's going to be 22 to 28 months.
Right.
But wait, there's more with this design. It's not just a 16,000 square foot home.
That's right. 6,000 of the square feet are underground.
Okay. So
in
we have
Florida,
a basement.
We have a 15-foot deep, 6,000 square foot. It's on it's in Winter Park. It's on the southeast side of Lake Osceola.
Got it.
Really unique lot. As you know, in Florida, I mean, our water table is 2 to 4 feet below ground, right? You dig a post hole and there's water in the bottom of your post hole. So I learned a lot about geotechnical that I didn't know before.
You ever want to know?
You
could never apply it again.
You can never apply it again. I mean, if we ever get to build on a lot like this again, it'll be, strike me with lightning. But one thing I learned that's really interesting is, so our lot is 21 feet above the level of the lake. And because of hydrostatic pressure, a lake will relieve the hydrostatic pressure in a hill on the edge of a lake. And so geotechnically, when we did the testing, our water table sits 17 feet below grade. And so the architect, or I think was in one of the design meetings, the client said, well, because we were testing for like muck, in Florida, what do I need to remediate? So we have nice soil. We have some really structural clays, and we have really great soils, but I present the geotechnical and the water table's so far down, the client says, well, can I put in a basement? And of course, what does the architect do?
Yes.
Right. Like, do architects ever say no?
Who's the architect on this?
Michael Weinrich
Okay.
with Michael Weinrich Architects.
Okay.
Phenomenal architectural partner.
Sure.
Has been great to collaborate with on this project.
Really want to do a basement.
Really wanted to do a basement. Yeah. And then we start talking, and the lot's not long enough for a basement that deep to get a driveway that sports cars wouldn't scrape at the top or bottom. So why not put a car lift in?
Wow.
And the why nots continue to happen. As you've built homes of this nature, you can, it becomes a rolling boulder snowball down the hill. And so, at the end of the day, we have a 6,000 square foot underground basement with a Batman type car elevator.
Yeah. So what you pull in and then it drops down. Then is there like turntable?
Turntable in the basement, but it doesn't
Crazy.
drop down because the car elevator is outside. You have to figure out how to waterproof a car elevator outside in Florida. So that's not a normal car elevator that
Who
drops
manufactures
down.
this, by the way? The car
A
elevator?
company called Carousel out of California, actually.
Okay.
So it's actually a
course it's out
dual,
of California.
yeah, where all of those kind of things are built, dual level car elevator. And, I'm sure most of us probably drive trucks. So my 2500, it can be parked on the top of the car elevator. And instead of the elevator going down, my truck on the top would actually raise up, and then you'd pull in and it'd lower you down.
Oh.
And so the top platform has the waterproofing that comes over the edges. And so because we built it to the highest point on the lot, it'll shed water,
Yep.
and there'll never be any water in the basement from the car elevator.
Wow.
And
So-
there's like turf over that area, right?
There is. It
So
just
you
looks like a turf parking spot on the top level, basically at grade. So what else is there, right?
Yeah.
Well, in the basement alone, there's a large recreation area, which is fun. Pool table, pinball machines, video games, 470-inch TVs.
Like a big version of here where we're broadcasting from.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. We bought bourbon barrel staves from Kentucky, and we made the walls with bourbon barrel staves.
Very cool.
Behind that is a theater, fully outfitted by like Bang & Olufsen, Lutron lighting. It is phenomenal. And then a wellness area, which is a gym, steam room, sauna, cold plunge, and the basement. Most of the areas are open to where the cars will sit, and we use this really cool product, Nichiha, who is like outdoor panels on homes,
Yep.
that you would clad a home with. They have this Onyx Mariah panel that's black and it's reflective. And so we put that on the back of where all the cars will be parked, and we put LED strips vertically on the parking spots. And so you actually see your parking spot outlined with LEDs with a black reflective panel, and that's how you back or pull into
Yeah.
the parking space for each car. And it's
Yep.
reflected in the black
You
panels.
say spots and you say cars, all plural, for a 6,000 square foot basement. What do you think? How many are you parking down there?
16 cars we can park in the basement. Yeah. So it's a pretty unique space, to say the least. So it'll be fun to show it off during IBS, that's for sure.
So the basement we get. What was the vision that Michael and Jason and you sat down with? Because of course I've seen the home.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Yes, yes.
Actually, Daniel lets me. I have like carte blanche. I can walk.
John does.
I've never been invited.
Here you are. Please come by. I'm headed there after this. You're more than welcome to follow me over.
So the vision, right? Because it's such a unique home with
Yes.
all the different, the cool things on it.
Mhm.
But there has to be a design concept that you started with. Tell us.
There was, the lot is like 0.72 of an acre on Lake Osceola, directly west facing. And what's really neat is it's the widest part of the lake as well, or the deepest part of the lake. You have the longest lake view where his lot happens to be on the lake. And so the goal was really, it's a modern house, very, very modern house. But the idea was, even though it was modern, they wanted really a warm aesthetic and to bring the lake in. The idea was, what's the point of living on a lake if you don't bring the lake into the house? And so we have a really unique pool that spans almost the entire back of the house with a zero edge on it. And when you're inside the house, whether you're in the kitchen, the great room, or the dining room, or even the guest bedroom suite, which is all on the first floor, you look out, and the idea is that you see no break between the pool and the lake.
Yep.
And it took a lot of actually work and effort to design that correctly with the setbacks from the lake, but our elevation helped a lot. And it was 2 weeks ago we started up the pool, and Jason and I sat down in folding chairs in the great room and waited for the sun to set.
Oh.
And one of the coolest pictures I've taken in any build I've ever built because it truly worked. We sat there and took pictures and sent them to the architect and interior designer and said, guys, this is what we were hoping for. And I'll tell you, we were talking about relationship earlier. When the client is there and gets to sit down and see, the idea and the concept in reality, it's a pretty powerful moment. And it's fun because as both of you have built these type of homes, the end of the day, when the client says, this is what I was talking about, and sees his vision realized, it doesn't get any better than that. They are. We actually look right into the back of a home that John built across the lake. And
my client put a giant rubber duck on.
He's not joking. It is.
Really?
It's
12-foot tall yellow rubber duck.
12-foot tall yellow rubber duck.
Wow.
That's just for Jason.
That's right.
So what date is the builder show?
February 17th, 18th, and 19th.
You got that tattooed on your arm?
I've got it. It's tattooed everywhere right now.
Are you gonna make it?
Yeah. So what's interesting is there needs to be a lot of marketing for the builder show. So next week, the house was fully furnished yesterday.
Oh, wow.
And we take pictures Monday through Friday of next week.
Is it ready for furniture?
It is.
Okay.
Of course it's ready for furniture.
Are you staging the furniture, then removing the furniture, then finishing the
No.
house and bring the furniture back?
We are staging the furniture. It's staged for 4 months. It was actually more expensive to stage it, take it away, bring it back. But, no, for pictures, it's going to look like everything works.
All right.
Well said.
Stress 1 through 10, where are you at right now?
I think right now, 2 weeks ago, I was at a 12. And when we got all the paint touch-ups done enough to bring in the furniture so we weren't, in danger of damaging furniture that I'm going to have to pay for from a staging company. But I really feel like we hit the peak of stress about 2 weeks ago. And that was about 6 weeks of really, you can only go as fast as you can go. But John came by one day, we had 50 to 60 subs on site. Or people on site, probably, a dozen to 24 subs on site for 6 weeks. It's not how you're supposed to build these homes.
Yep.
Everybody on top of each other.
Crashing a house is what we call it.
Yes, it is. It is awful. We've got 2 full-time project managers, 2 assistant project managers, all on this house almost full-time for the last 6 weeks. And you just cannot possibly answer every question that every subcontractor has. They have a problem because this guy's in the way and this guy's in the way and his product is in the way, electrical, plumbing, HVAC conflicts, you name it. The gas line, hey, the guy grading the backyard just broke the gas line. Wonderful.
I'll get to that later. Well,
That's
not
right.
only with all the 50 plus trades that are, but he's opened up the home to the members of GOBA to come in and tour the home ahead of time. So he gets 50 or 60 tradespeople there, and then he brings in a group of 60 or 70 of us that are gawking at everything. And
It has been, yep. Though, John and I have talked many times about there's no purpose in being in an industry unless you're helping build the industry. So many contractors have the view or the belief that they're the only person that knows how to do what they're doing. And honestly, it's just a childish view. We all can build really phenomenal projects. But how much better can we build if we actually collaborate? You don't have to do it better than the next guy. You have to do it really well. Produce a quality project, have great relationship and communication with your trades, with your clients, and you're going to get jobs. I think one of the great things in Orlando, and John and I would say we talk every other week, and it's amazing how many times both of us find we come to a point in a project when we're like, hey, have you done this before? No. Do you have somebody that does that? I
asked him for a cleaning crew.
I asked John 2 weeks ago I walked a house with him that he'd done that had these really unique interior metal doors closing off an office. And I texted him, I was like, hey, who'd you use for that? Or how did you do that? What'd you use when you built that in the house? And
they make them in 2 weeks.
Yeah. It's amazing how many times I've asked that question. We have 4 different countertop fabricators in this house because no one could get everything done in the amount of time we needed to get it done and have the full scope, But, keeping a positive attitude, believing that it's going to be done. And even when you hit those snags and roadblocks, just realizing that you're going to do the best job you can possibly do. If you go to bed every night and know, you know what? I did as good of a job as I could have possibly done today. Tomorrow's a new day. The problems that'll come will be there. Just kind of being able to, and I say this kind of tongue in cheek, leave it at the door when you walk in your house at the end of the day. You don't always do that.
That's right.
But, having that kind of bigger picture thought and belief and ethos is a way to kind of just keep your sanity when you're doing it. And so,
going back, we talked about the design, but I know something's important for you and I is energy efficiency and sustainability of the home.
Yes.
So talk about what you've done. I know you've engaged
man.
a consultant for that.
Two Trails is an energy efficient consultant. They're actually over on the West Coast in Tampa.
Members
And
of FHBA also.
Yes, they are huge.
Yes.
Yep. And they've advised us. They've done all the energy calcs. They've advised us throughout the entire build. But we have so many ways that we have pursued energy efficiency on this project, from a huge number of gas appliances in the home. LG has a new water heater in the garage that actually pulls in the ambient heat to heat the water and to reduce the amount of electricity that product uses. The Rinnai tankless hot water heaters on the outside of the house. What's interesting is all of those things add to it, but really the ceiling of the envelope of the house is huge. So you're not getting a lot of excess air and a loss of air, whether it be air conditioning or heating. Obviously in Florida, it's 99% of the time air conditioning. But the real kicker that everything is now gauged on the HERS scale. If you're familiar with the HERS, the home efficiency rating scale.
Home energy rating system.
That's right. And we just did a final, it's not completely final, but kind of the pre-final expected HERS rating on the house. And it looks like we're going to be somewhere in the -40 range. We have 108 solar panels on the roof producing 58 kilowatts of power. Now, let me just kind of put that in perspective. This house has an 800 amp panel on it. We have 2 electric car chargers. Those each pull 50 kilowatts apiece. Yep. We've got, we actually have every panel in the house filled. And the house is still going to pump energy back into the grid. Generac has a new 28 kilowatt air and water cooled generator that's made for home that we'll have the first one installed in the United States. It's coming off the production line, being installed next week.
That's exciting.
Yeah. The new... Right. It's not always, but they've assured us that it's going to work.
Sure.
But they've provided their power walls as well. Schneider's power management system is really unique. All of their internet or smart breakers. So you actually set the breakers to activate when power goes off, and the home knows if the power goes off, which breakers should stay on and which should not come back on. So it prioritizes like your freezer and your refrigerator. The transfer switches, knowing where to transfer power when power does go off. And then even with the electronics in the home, the power management systems that allow for there to be no downtime or like flickering, because certain smart areas of the home really need a consistent power source, and I'm going to say this and I don't actually know what it means, but where it switches from AC to DC to AC, I keep hearing that from our like low voltage guys, to modulate the power and whatnot. I am not an electrician, but it's pretty interesting to see how they do that and all the systems that go into it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So where are you going to celebrate when it's done? What are you going to do to celebrate when it's done?
Oh, that's a great question.
Course at a Florida State game.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. So I grew up on a cattle ranch and I love hunting and fishing. And
where?
I grew up just north of here, actually, Flagler County. But I'm actually taking my whole team and we're going quail hunting. A little quail hunting place up in right outside of Albany, Georgia, which is going to be really fun. So doing that with the team, and then I promised my wife that we would go wherever she wanted to.
Right answer.
Man. That's actually the more important relationship that I might have to rebuild a little bit.
That's great.
But
so in closing, what's your favorite restaurant?
It's actually, Orlando has a new Michelin has just come into Orlando, and we have Michelin rated restaurants now. Restaurants that are, I guess,
the first one, the Four Seasons. I ate at that one. That was Michelin. And now they have 2 Michelin stars.
Right.
And then there's a couple more that came up just this year.
Yep. And then there's some on the what's that?
There's one in Winter Park. Right?
There is one in Winter Park. There's a couple of them in Winter Park actually, but there's one that's on the. It's like on the. It's not the waiting list, but it's like it's almost good enough to get one.
Yeah.
It's on.
They've identified it or whatever.
Yes, they've identified it as it's really good, and it's called Tori Tori, and it's on it's not Mills. It changes over to Orlando Avenue,
Yeah.
right there, right past Colonial. It's little like tapas and whatnot, but
Cool.
they are phenomenal. But do not. It's there's no reservations,
Okay.
and if you get there after 7:00, forget
No
finding a
chance.
place to sit. But I mean, we're all over 40. We don't go late at night.
I heard that's a new thing, by the way. I was talking about that earlier, that apparently like our age group is eating earlier and earlier. Like it's become a thing.
Right.
We used to make fun of our
parents for doing
and
it. Yeah.
grandparents.
Wait, is
They
it
were right.
it that our age group is doing it,
They
or is
said
that
it
we're
is.
doing the same thing our
Changed it to
parents?
the first one.
I like it. I
I'm
like
buying
it.
that. That's
But it's
great.
really easy to find a table if you get there at 5:45.
Good. Perfect. We'll try it.
Oh man.
Excellent, Chief Daniel. We really appreciate you taking the time.
Absolutely.
No, very cool to talk with you and get to know you, and congratulations on
Thank
on
you.
it.
Thank you.
It's a great honor to be a part of, so you should be proud, and thank you for everything you do for our industry. And
Absolutely. I appreciate the opportunity. If nobody is willing to talk about the things that they're doing in construction and share with the industry's not going to grow. And so I love the podcast, and just that you're really willing to, engage other builders, because that's what is going to make us better as a whole group.
Awesome.
Well said.
Yeah. Well, thank you again. This has been another episode of The Buildup from Florida Paints, their pub. Until next time, take care.
And that's a wrap on this episode of The Buildup, brought to you by the Florida Home Builders Association. Keep the conversation going, and we'll catch you next time.